You know what no one wants to admit right now? You, me, every hardworking American. We've been footing the bill for someone else's war for far too long. We've sent the money, we've sent the weapons. We've listened to every speech about democracy abroad while our own streets crumble at home. And now, finally, something different is happening. A meeting just took place in Miami between former Trump officials and a Russian envoy. And for the first time in years, it feels like peace might actually be on the table instead of another $1 trillion blank check. Now, before anyone loses their mind, this isn't about taking sides between Ukraine or Russia. It's about finally putting America's priorities first. See, the American people aren't against helping others. We never have been. But we're done being taken advantage of. We've spent years watching our tax dollars get poured into endless wars that never end. Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Ukraine. Every time the same promise. This time it's different. And every time it's not. The Miami talks signal something bigger. They tell the world that America's leadership is back, but not the global babysitter version, not the we'll fund your fight forever version, the peace through strength version. The America that negotiates from power, not weakness. I've said it before, you can't rebuild your house if you're too busy fixing everyone else's problems. That's what this peace plan represents. It's not retreat, it's realism. Now let's talk numbers, because that's what gets ignored. Over $180 billion of US taxpayer money has gone to Ukraine since 2022. That's more than we spent rebuilding our own cities after multiple national disasters combined. Meanwhile, our veterans still sleep on the streets, our border is a mess, and our debt is over $34 trillion. At some point, you have to ask, who's really winning? Russia's economy didn't collapse. Ukraine's people are suffering. And the global elites who sell the weapons, they're cashing record profits. That's not justice, that's exploitation disguised as virtue. And for the first time in a long time, we've had a president who's not afraid to call it what it is. President Trump's team has made it clear. America will stand for strength, for sovereignty, and for peace, not endless dependence on the military-industrial complex. So let's get real. Peace doesn't come from weakness. Peace comes when your enemies respect your power and your priorities. The Miami meeting wasn't some backroom deal. It was a message. It said to the world, we will defend our allies, but we won't destroy ourselves to do it. That's leadership. That's strategy. That's America first. And to everyone who's screaming that negotiating peace is appeasement, let me remind you of something simple. There's a difference between being weak and being wise. Weakness writes checks it can't cash. Wisdom knows when to spend and when to stand down. For the past 3 years, while DC insiders and cable news generals got rich talking about defending democracy, Americans were paying record grocery prices and watching our sons and daughters enlist without equipment older than they are. This peace plan isn't just about Ukraine. It's about ending the addiction to conflict that's drained America for decades. Now, I know some of you watching are veterans. You've seen the real cost. You know that every time a politician says limited engagement, it turns into another endless commitment. We've buried enough heroes to understand what foreign policy really means when it's written by people who never worn a uniform. And that's why this moment matters. Because for once, the conversation isn't about escalation. It's about resolution. It's about results. The world is starting to realize that the US under Trump isn't the ATM of global warfare anymore. We're not handing out freedom defense forever. We're saying, if you want peace, let's build it. But we're not sacrificing our own country to fund your fight. You know what's funny? The same media outlets that mocked Trump for saying he could end the war in 24 hours are now writing stories like, could diplomacy actually work? Oh, you mean the thing he's been saying since 2016? And here's the kicker. Europe's finally paying attention. They see that America is refocusing on stability, not chaos. That matters, because when America leads with strength and discipline, the world stabilizes. That's what made Reagan's doctrine so powerful. He didn't preach weakness. He stared evil in the face and said, peace through strength. That's not just a slogan, it's a philosophy. Let me speak to you directly. The average American who's tired of being told you're selfish for wanting your country to thrive first, you're not selfish. You're sane. Our roads, our schools, our border, our healthcare, our veterans, These are not partisan issues. They're survival issues. And you can't fix any of them if your government keeps acting like a global charity instead of a sovereign nation. The Miami peace talks may be the first step towards ending this insanity. And if they succeed, it'll prove something that should have been obvious all along. The strongest nations are the ones confident enough to choose peace. Now, don't misunderstand me. Peace doesn't mean letting our guard down. It means knowing that our guard is so strong we don't have to keep swinging. When you can crush your enemy but choose restraint, that's real power. That's what America used to be known for. And that's what we're rebuilding right now. You can already see the shift. Markets are reacting, allies are recalculating, and for the first time in a decade, you can feel optimism coming back into the conversation about America's role in the world. Because this time, the mission is simple. Protect the homeland, defend our allies wisely, and rebuild what's broken here first. So let me ask you, how many trillions have we wasted fighting wars we never finished? How many flags have been folded while politicians gave speeches about staying the course? If there's one thing we learned from the last century, it's that wars don't end when the enemy surrenders. They end when the truth does, when lies stop, when accountability returns. And that's what this new peace plan represents, a return to accountability. If Ukraine and Russia can reach a real, verifiable deal, one that secures their borders and stops the bloodshed, then for once, the United States can say we helped bring peace, not profit from pain. That's not isolationism. That's integrity. You know, I talk a lot on this channel about grit, about discipline, about strength. But let me tell you something. It takes more strength to make peace than it does to make war. War is easy. War is profitable. Peace takes courage. It takes humility. It takes men and women willing to be called naive for believing in something better. That's why this moment matters. Because for once, it feels like we're stepping into history instead of repeating it. When Trump says America will lead again, he doesn't mean we'll fund everyone's battles. He means we'll lead with vision, by example, not exhaustion. So here's my challenge to you. Before you scroll to the next outrage clip or the next celebrity scandal, take 5 seconds and ask yourself one question. What if peace actually is possible when strength leads the way? Because it is. And if we get this right, your kids and mine won't grow up learning about another forever war. They'll grow up in a country that remembered how to put its people first. That's what this Miami meeting is really about. Not politics, not posturing, but purpose. America's purpose was never to police the planet. It was to stand as proof that freedom works, that faith matters, and that strength and peace can coexist. It's time we start living like it again. So if you're still watching this, I want to hear from you. Do you believe peace through strength is the right path forward? Or do you think the world's too far gone for diplomacy to matter? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're ready for a generation that believes in truth, peace, and accountability, hit that like button, share this message, and subscribe to The Watchman 98. Because the fight for peace starts right here, with awareness, with strength, and with you.